Hi, in today's video I'm going to show you 5 ways to use the gorgeous Merriest Moments bundle. So be sure to catch them all and let me know what your favourite is. So let's get started. Hi, it's Jenny from A Stamping Jenny. I'm a Stampin' Up demonstrator in Wollongong, just south of Sydney, Australia. Thanks for joining me today. The Merriest Moments bundle has been very popular through this mini catalogue. Today's video, I'm showing you 5 ways to use this great bundle. Be sure to stick around to the end to see them all. I'll be showing you how to create one first off, but I can't wait to show you all that I've been creating with it. So all the products that you see can be ordered through my store if you're in Australia, or you can contact me directly. But if you have a long wish list, it's always better value to join the Stampin' Up family, and I welcome you to my Gen Zinc team. So let's get started. Firstly, let's have a look at this bundle. We have the Merriest Moments stamp set. I love the sentiments in this stamp set, and I love the font that's used. It's really beautiful. You've got some holly leaves, different shape leaves, and 2 different sizes of the poinsettias. It's really lovely, and this will coordinate so nicely with the dies. You've got a number of different ones for the flowers, for the poinsettias and the leaves. You've got a stitch rectangle, which is great. And then for this one, you have a detailed die and an outline die. And these are great to use by themselves or to work together. And they coordinate beautifully with the Merriest Frames Hybrid Embossing Folder. So you can cut out just the outline, or you can cut out the detail. We'll get more into that later when I'm showing you some of the other cards. So let's get about and make the card. This is my first card I wanted to show you. And see the detailed edge I've created? I just thought this added just that little intricate detail. So I've got Whisper White cardstock. Well, a basic white, that's what we call it now. So that's just your thick card. And you have a piece of cherry cobbler. We've got a strip of the Tidings of Christmas Designer Series paper. This is 3 centimeters by 14.4 centimeters, or 1 1/4 inch by 5 1/8 inch. It just tucks just inside the edge of the card. You'll also need some white card for cutting your frame out, which we'll get to. And also I've added an extra piece because I added a lining inside too. So why don't we get started? You'll want to emboss your card first. I have used the Merry Melody 3D embossing folder. This is another one in the mini catalogue, and I think it sometimes gets hidden. So you'll just want to run that through your embossing machine. Add your cards. Run that through our embossing machine, so I'll just go and do that now. Here we are. Check out this detail. I have no idea what the music says. Maybe someone can enlighten me, but it's just really beautiful. All right, so now we can stamp our flower out, our poinsettia. So we're going to use cherry cobbler for that. Just using a small poinsettia there. And I'm going to use some bumblebee for the center. I think that just adds a little, just a nice little centering to it, a touch. And we'll need 2 leaves. I'm using the smaller leaf for this as well, and using shaded spruce. So just give it a few little taps. and we'll get our leaves. So you're going to cut that out. We're using, you've got the coordinating dies here, so using this. Now, when you're lining this up, it takes a few little goes. So just spin the die around a couple of times. You could mark it up in other stamp sets when you have the flowers and dies. I actually mark the position on the stamp set and on the die. That makes it so much easier. But we've got our die lined up there, and you'll want the smaller leaf. That is still over at our die cut machine, so I'll use that over there. And we'll want to cut the frame, our stitched rectangle frame. So we'll run over to the die cut machine and do that now. There we have our poinsettia and our 2 leaves. Now, when you do the sentiment, you can stamp sentiment first and then cut it. I think there's plenty of room, so I don't think you'd have too much trouble lining it up. We'll just leave that for now. I'm using a Joyful Christmas to You and Yours on this one, which fits nicely on it. Give it a good press down. You can just use the Memento black ink for that, that's fine. So we have all our parts. What we need now is this detail die. So we have your piece of card. So we're going to get our detail die. That will just fit on your piece of card. So it's about the size of your card front. That's what you'll need to use. And I'm just going to run that through the die cut machine. Because it's detailed, you might need to run it through back and forth a few times just to be sure that it cuts a couple of times, cuts through well. So we'll just run that through. There we are. See how detailed that is? It's so lovely. Now you could use that by itself. It's really nice. Colour it. But with the embossing folder, you get that extra texture, which is so lovely. So now what we want to do is add that embossing to it. It just gives you that extra depth when you're creating with it. So what we can do is just line this up. It's easy to see. Just line that with the leaves and carefully close that. And you're going to then run that through your emboss machine. And let's see the magic for that. Okay, are you ready for it? When you open it, you get all that extra dimension to it. Those embossed lines on the leaves. All of them. It's just lovely. And you get the embossed frame. So beautiful. Of course you can use that as it is. But we're going to just have this little peekaboo underneath it. So what you'll need to do is with your base card, the basic white that we've got, we're going to cut off an edge on that. So let's bring our paper trimmer in. And I'm cutting off 2.5 centimeters or 1 inch on the side of your card. Just line that up. While you've got this trimmer here, you want to trim down part of this lovely die. Now, a tip that I want to show you with this, you don't want to start on the edge because that's going to pull your leaves and tear it, and it's just going to get messy. What you can do is when you've got it lined up, so you're just going to come in, I don't know, midpoint on the frame. It doesn't matter too much, but you want to start cutting in the middle of your card and go back, and just that way it won't pull. Now, don't waste this half because you can use that on another card. We're going to grab this part, get rid of our trimmer. Now with our adhesive, you're going to just stick this together now. Depending on what adhesive you like to use, I'm using the Tombow, and I'm just going to add a little bit just around on the center. Doesn't matter too much of the leaves, but we'll add some in. Now just tuck that in behind. Hopefully you can see that okay. So you have that little edge sticking out. Just center it, make sure that it's centered both this way, top and bottom. See how you've got that peeking edge, it's so cute. And then you can stick your piece of designer series paper down. Isn't it the way? You don't get any out. This is nearly empty, and then all just squirts out. We'll just dab off some of that. Press that down there. Now we can just add our embossed music piece. Just make sure that it's the right way. Stick it down on the right side. Okay, oh, sticky mess. Now we're going to put our leaves on behind our poinsettia. Just adding a touch of glue to the end of the leaf. There we go. So just put that aside to let that dry just while we finish putting it together. Just want some dimensionals. We'll just add a couple in the corners. Of course, you could use the mini ones. I just happen to have the larger ones on hand at the moment. There we go. Oops, we need a dimensional for our flower. And I'm just going to put it just up the top corner. I'm going to add a pearl to finish that. Oh, one thing I did forget was this inside. Now, of course, you leave that as it is, but what I wanted to do was just add a liner in to cover that up. So it's just 14.4 centimeters by 7.4 centimeters, which is about 3 1/4 by 5 3/8. So you just stick that down. I just think it just covers that up so it doesn't look so messy. It's entirely up to you though. So we'll bring in our finished card. Now, let's check out some other cards that I've been creating with this. That's what you're waiting for. So this one, I have used the outline die and embossed it. This is actually embossing the designer series paper, the Tidings of Christmas. It's another print in this pack. So it just gives you that bit of a subtle embossed edge. But underneath this, you might see I've actually embossed the card mat, the soft succulent here too. So you get those little, I don't know that they're snowflakes, yes, underneath that. And that comes from the embossing folder. I thought that was a really lovely feature so that you can add that extra texture. And I've used the gorgeous cherry cobbler and gold ribbon. It's beautiful and soft, so easy to tie. Now, just to cheat with that too, don't feel you have to try and tie a bow on that. I added a strip of ribbon around the card mat first before I stuck it down. And just to finish, I tied a bow and just added that with a glue dot. So much easier than trying to mess around with tying a bow. You never get it sitting right. I've just used 2 smaller poinsettias for that one. This one is inspired by one I saw in the catalogue. I changed the colours, but the layout's similar, and it's using this leaf to stamp over it. And layering, I was going to curl up these poinsettias, but I didn't get around to it. But you can do that. Just give them a little curl on the corners. So we just have a simple poinsettia card. This one is in cherry cobbler and real red I've used for that one. Now for this one, I have embossed vellum for this. So I've just run it in the embossing folder with some vellum, and on the back of the piece of vellum, I coloured in the leaves. So I've used the old olive and the shaded spruce, and I also used mint macaron, which for some of the lighter ones I think too. But that gives a soft effect, using some gold ribbon this time. And I really discovered these tiny little poinsettia flowers that you can cut out with the dies. They're really cute. And just with the smaller die, I'll just try and grab them. So I just used one of these, and you can make tiny little poinsettias, add your little pearl. So that's a nice addition. So then our last card. When I was creating this one, I was stamping the leaves, and I thought, that looks a bit like a Christmas tree. So I then used that idea and stamped the leaves downwards in an angle to form the side of a Christmas tree. And I used just one of those tiny poinsettia flowers with the pearls. Just a simple card, but I was really happy with the effect of that. So I hope you like it. I hope you like all these cards. If you're on YouTube, give it a thumbs up if you like it. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on other videos that I share with you. And if you're on Facebook, be sure to share it and hit the like. Share with your friends. So thanks for stopping by, and be back soon, and I'll share some more creations with you. Have a great day. Bye.